What's up, MMA fans? I'm currently being joined by UFC featherweight Charles Boston Strong Rosa. Now, Charles, obviously you were from Boston. How did you end up here in Florida?
I came down here like 10 years ago. I graduated from culinary school, so I went to Johnson & Wales University in Providence, Rhode Island. Got a bachelor's degree in culinary arts, and then after that, I was kind of pretty much trying to find my way. I came down to South Florida, and I started working in a restaurant. And once I was working in the restaurant, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I was used to playing sports my whole life. I was a triathlete, hockey, lacrosse, football. So once college ended, and I didn't play anymore and wasn't on any more teams, I kind of feel like I lost the competitive edge. So a friend and family friend kind of suggested maybe to try something else. My uncle Tom the Bomb Rosa was a boxer, a tough man champion from New England, and my dad boxed. So and my grandfather was a Navy boxing champion. So that was always in my blood, and there's nothing more competitive than boxing, and that's what I went to do. I went to try to find what I thought was a boxing gym, but it was a mixed martial arts gym, and I walked into American Top Team in Boca Raton. I met Charles McCarthy, and the rest is history. I just fell in love with it and haven't stopped since.
And you're a black belt, so you've been doing the jiu-jitsu game for at least 10 years now, right?
Yeah, I've been training jiu-jitsu for 11 years now. That's when I met Charles McCarthy at the gym. I was just a white belt, tough kid coming off the streets of Boston, and worked really hard. And the first day I went into his gym, I thought I was the toughest kid in the gym. I just thought I used to be able to beat up all my friends. We used to fight each other and stuff like that. So I grew up tough, and I grew up in a tough family. So I didn't really know much about mixed martial arts. I was a fan of it, but I didn't know much about it. So when I went in the gym and I saw some little guy be able to tap me out with a triangle choke, something I'd never seen before, I knew that he knew something that I didn't know, because I know he wasn't tougher than me. I knew he wasn't stronger than me. I knew so he just knew more than me. So from that day forward, I just kept training and kept working hard, and basically just decided to take an amateur fight. And long story short, just kept working really hard and made it to where I'm at now, UFC.
And I can definitely tell you're a big fan of the UFC and MMA in general, because I always see you tweeting about it. We're coming off of a big weekend with UFC on ABC. Obviously, two fighters that are in your weight division, Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar. Did you think it was going to be that much of a clinic that Max put on Calvin?
Yeah, I mean, more hats off to, Max, putting on an absolute clinic. It was super impressive performance. He was on fire that day. And some days you get in there with a guy that's on fire, and, it's what it is. He lands a shot or something like that, you get hit in the eye or something, and then you start to. But also hats off to Calvin. The kid is tough as nails. Probably one of the toughest performances I've ever seen. Him not going down from all those shots and the shots that he took. And man, that was a pretty amazing fight. I think it was the best fight I've seen since I can remember.
And before we were even able to process all that, we had fight night, or should I say fight morning, with Neil Magny versus Michael Chiesa. And now we're going to have the first pay-per-view of 2021 at UFC 257, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. But before we start talking about all that, I want to talk about you, because you have a fight coming up on February 20th. It's kind of up in the air where the location is exactly going to be, but what can you tell us so far?
Yeah, February 20th, I'm fighting Darrick. It's going to be his third UFC fight. And it's going to be my 9th, so I'm really excited to get back in there. I'm coming off a big win against Kevin Aguilar, which was a big win. He was a top guy in the division for a little while. So they're saying it's going to be in Las Vegas, so hopefully I won't have to make that long travel to Abu Dhabi. But either way, I'm just excited to get back in there and fight and do what I love, and climb my way to the top of the division.
Awesome, and you're going to be able to enjoy the first pay-per-view of the year. You got Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, and then that co-main event with Michael Chandler and City Kickboxing's Dan Hooker. So what are your picks for that co-main event and then the main event as well?
It's tough to make a prediction. I think the Michael Chandler and the Hooker fight, I think Chandler takes it. I think that he's just a little bit too, strong, and he can maybe overpower him with the wrestling. We haven't seen Dan Hooker do much wrestling, so that'll be interesting to see. I think that's going to, if he's able to stop those first couple takedowns, then he takes the fight. But if he's not, then it could be a long night for him. And then the main event was which fight? It was
Conor McGregor.
Oh, of course. Okay, I thought it was a different card. Yeah, no, it's for sure. I'm going to be watching that. And, I'm always going for my guy, Dustin. I trained with him over at American Top Team for a while now. And, man, he's one of the toughest kids I ever met. And he's also been like an inspiration watching him come up, in the career. So, I'm definitely going with Dustin. However, I do think it's a tough matchup stylistically for him because of, the karate style versus the boxing. It's kind of like the kryptonite for it. So hopefully Dustin can get in on the inside on him, but it'll be a tough night.
Yeah, and one of the people that I wanted to talk to for my Kimbo Slice feature was Mike Brown, but obviously he's in Abu Dhabi right now. So how did you first come to know Kimbo? And his birthday's coming up on February 8th, so it's going to be nice to remember him.
Yeah, definitely. Kimbo actually, so the story that I told you before when I first came into the American Top Team in Boca Raton gym with Charles McCarthy, it was one of my first, couple weeks in the gym, so I didn't really know much about fighting. But the only thing I did know about fighting, I knew about Mike Tyson, and I knew about Kimbo Slice. So Kimbo Slice, for me, was my favorite fighter in the world at the time. And after being in Charles' gym for a couple weeks, Charles McCarthy's gym for a couple weeks, one day he mentioned there was a guy in the gym. His name was Mike Imber, also known as Icy Mike, who was Kimbo Slice's manager. I didn't know at the time, but Charles McCarthy was teaching him a private lesson. And he was on the side giving a private lesson. I heard him talking about Kimbo Slice. I'm like, wait, you know Kimbo Slice? He's like, yeah, Kimbo Slice is my best friend. I'm his manager, and he's my guy, And I'm like, no way. Like, I almost didn't believe him because to me, Kimbo Slice was like, he's a legend to me. So at that time, I pretty much had nothing. I only had a bicycle, barely even had my own place to stay. I think I just got a cell phone at the time. I was pretty broke, So like, I remember I used to borrow the boxing gloves every day. So like every day I would borrow boxing gloves from the gym. I just have to use someone's old sweaty ones every day to do the classes. And the next day I came in, he came in with Kimbo, and Kimbo gave me my first pair of boxing gloves, like that someone actually gave me. So right away I knew he was a special guy, and he came to a lot of my came to a lot of my amateur fights and sponsored me through my career and helped me, just build that confidence throughout my career until I made it all the way to the big show. So he's been a really special person and inspiration in my career.
That's an awesome story. Yeah, shout out to Mike Imber. He was able to kind of set that up. He seems like such great friends. I don't know if you've seen on UFC Fight Pass, the Fight Lore. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Well, thank you so much for the time. I wish you the best of luck on February 20th. Is there anything you want to say just to tune in for that fight?
No, definitely. Everyone tune in February 20th. It's going to be a great fight. Get back in there, continue my winning streak. And definitely tune in February 20th at UFC.
All right, you heard it here first, guys. I'm Alex. That's Charles. Rosa. See you next time.